Hofstadter's Law. This from my friend, I'm going to shout him out on here, Nick Caravino, professional poker player. It was funny because met him at the gym. We linked up for a podcast. Cool guy and everything. Right now we're still friends and we still hit each other up. I actually found out he lives close by to me. Decided to make a podcast. I told myself, first thing, he saw me setting up the podcast, and there's a lot to it, right? You gotta set up the room, you gotta set up the camera, you gotta get the lighting, the sound, and I gotta set up the software and put everything in, and then make sure, because every time you move, because my podcast is portable, every time I move, I gotta check the sound, and it just changes with everything in the room. And he was holding his tongue the whole time because he knew this is what I was suffering from, Hofstadter's Law. Because I went in there, I told him straight up, like, hey man, I know I could set this up quickly, but it always takes longer. And I believe when we did it, I told him half hour, 45 minutes, but it's probably going to be longer than that. And we went 2 hours changing this whole room. And this is an empty room in the library. And I'm like, that took long, as I expect. And yeah, he saw it happen before his eyes. And I could tell he had respect for the podcast because it looks easy, right? They say any dumbass can make a podcast, but that's not true. You know, especially what I went through. We'll crack up about it. And we jump on the podcast, and we finally get things going. It's smoothly and it's nice. And this is the first thing he brings up. He's like, hey, Enley, you got to learn about this. I'm like, holy shit, why haven't I not learned this about this earlier? We should be learning about this in school. Like, why? Oh, man, it just drives me crazy. If I would have known this years ago. I mean, this gave me a little bit more peace of mind. I thought this was a me problem. I was blaming myself. But really, this is just a law of the universe. It's just things just take longer than they should, even with Hofstadter's Law in the equation. I'm going to get one podcast by the time 2025 starts. Okay, and I achieved that goal. I did it on January 1st. I want to say maybe an hour or two after the ball dropped, which is hysterical. But I was working really hard. And I want to say I started in November. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do a podcast, and, you know, first ever podcast. I got some knowledge. I've been on other people's podcasts, so I'm not that green. You know what I'm saying? I've been messing with audio a little bit. You know, but, you know, never done a podcast, never exported a podcast. And I told myself 2 weeks. And, oh, man, I was in a rude awakening. 2 weeks. I wasn't even close. And that was the only thing I was focusing on. I wasn't even focusing on my business. It was my number one focus at the time. Like, I did go out for New Year's, but I had a computer nearby.